Tonight's tactical enhancement is a funny little bottle of Chivas Regal, which we seem to have drunk already. Tonight we're playing Warhammer 8th edition, and it's Emilio's Orcs and Goblins versus Mark's Skaven. And let's have a look-see first. So it's a straight-up battle line because none of us thought to roll a mission. So, Emilio, talk us through what you got.
All right, so it's 1,300 points, and to start off with, we've got our 5 Goblin Wolf Riders, and these guys have got Vanguard, so they're going to take advantage of that in their first turn.
So they'll forward deploy, lovely.
And then there's a big block of 30 Savage Orcs, and in there you've also got the Battle Standard Bearer, who's an Orc Big Boss, and you've also got the Savage Orc Great Shaman, who's a level 3 mark in that one. And then you've got the Goblin, Night Goblin block. In that Night Goblin block you've also got some Netters, and there's 40 of those little fellas. Then you've got your chariots. So these are Goblin Wolf chariots. There's 3 of them, and we'll see how they go in that frontal assault. And then my favourite, the Snotling Pump Wagons. See how they go.
Only 2 of them today.
Only 2. And then we've got the Spear Chuckers. But these Spear Chuckers also include Orc Bully in there as well, just to steady any fears they may have. Cool. But I don't think they're going to be affected by animosity this time round, by fear, because last time I played elves, isn't it? Elves?
That's true.
Yeah, so no elves this time, so I haven't got that issue.
Do we even roll for fear?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I've got to check a rule too, because someone was saying in the comments that if you got a unit of less than 5 models or some such thing, you don't roll animosity, which probably means that we shouldn't have been rolling for those chariots. So.
That then affected. Okay, that's good feedback.
It wasn't a game breaker, but it would have
they still got
had an influence.
They still got shot up anyway. But you'd have to watch the movie to see that I didn't place them well to maximise their
They're
design.
definitely in the thick of it now. All right. Well, let's now have a look at the Skaven.
So last time I had heaps of models, this time I've got very few models, just to try out some different stuff. So I've got a level 4 Grace here on Screaming Bell, heaps of Clan Rats, Battle Standard Dude, Chieftain.
Lovely,
that's
awesome.
Doom Wheel, just because I've never used it, it's got some crazy rules. Heaps of Clan Rats.
Well, that looked pretty.
With the Champ, Standard, etc. Warp Lightning Cannon, and the Hell Pit Abomination. So very different army to last time.
I call it the Rules Pit Abomination.
Yeah.
I hate the fucking thing.
Yeah, that thing can regenerate. Is that right? As well.
So heaps of rules.
Look at this. So just get a nice view of the battlefield, and then we'll check in. Actually, gentlemen, do you want to roll for the turn first?
Yeah.
So you goes first. So Emilio's just dropped the foot of Gork and a whole bunch of Skaven, and now there are less of them. But it does something silly. So we roll a d6, and it'll do something off of this table here. We get a 4, and a 4 is Gork. Stomps another enemy unit. Place the template again as described above. After resolving the effects of this, roll again on the table.
So he stomps the same unit. It does it again.
Well, another 7 dead Skaven from the foot bouncing around. Apparently he's jumping up and down.
Is it still
and we roll again on the table.
Roll again on the table. Here we go.
Yeah. 1. Oh, that's more like it. Gork slips and stomps one of your own units.
Also,
your opponent places the template anywhere on the table, and it does the thing that it normally does.
Oh, of course he puts it there.
All right. Oh, look at that. It's going right on top of the big bunch of Savage Orcs.
All right, the bigger places there.
And now there are 6 less Orcs as well. Well, that was a spectacular start to the magic phase, and it's only the first half of turn 1. Right, the end of first half of turn 1, and you saw how the magic phase panned out. All that happened after that is the 2 bolt throwers took a pot shot, hit the Hell Pit Abomination, and failed to wound it. So that's still lurking there like a menacing pile of special rule and special rule and special rule. And we are now into Skaven half of turn 1. Alright, end of turn 1. Both sides about to go now. The Skaven have run forward. What the hell actually happened this turn? I wasn't paying attention.
The bell went off and destroyed all the buildings that were hindering Emilio's orcs, which was great Skaven tactics. I realised that the Doom Wheel should not in fact be in the middle of the army because of its warp lightning bolts. Which I managed to stop shooting.
So it shoots lightning out of the house is what we're hearing.
Yeah, and then the cannon shot I missed completely because I was too keen.
Okie dokie. Right, well, we'll roll into Orcs and Goblins turn 2 and we'll check in after that, or if something truly spectacularly stupid happens in the meantime. So Emilio's 3 wolf chariots with scythes have been buffed with poison, have all crashed simultaneously into the Doom Wheel. It's pretty much exactly the charge you'll be wanting to get off. Alright, so end of turn 2, first half of turn 2, Orcs and Gobs, they all moved up, whatever the fuck happened in the magic phase, I can't remember. A couple of wounds taken off of the Rules Pit Abomination from the bolt throwers, and 3 chariots crashed into that thing and smashed all of its wounds except 1.
And magic gave it poison.
Magic gave it poison, that helped. And in return it ground over the top of one of the chariots. It's a nice bit of demolition derby happening there. And now we are over to the Skaven turn 2, and for a small number of points there's a shed ton going on this table. Well, it's a turn of Yahtzee versus Yahtzee. It's only turn 2 and look at the fucking casualty pile. Alright, what happened? This Rules Pit Abomination crashed into the Savage Orcs and triggered a Goblin Fanatic from those fellas and bumped a few wounds off of it. Those guys charged in there, this cannon wheeled around and zapped 4 out of 5 Wolf Riding Goblins, or whatever the fuck they are, I don't know.
Wolf Riders, yeah.
Wolf Riders. The running joke is his brothers are all dead, so he's going home to 5 goblin wives, and we're just debating whether that's something you'd really want to go home to. In the meantime, the Doom Wheel kept grinding away on those chariots and bumped off 2 of them. It's worth noting the rats rolled up like 2d6 attacks, so just, well, you know, you wouldn't want to be the crewman suffering that shit. And, okay, a lot happened with the bell. So in the magic phase, the bell got rung. It rung 13, bumped wounds off of stuff all over the place. None of it was completely decisive, but it just weakened the whole gobbo line. And it also meant that every single fucking thing in that unit all got to attack one poor snotling pump wagon. That one there in the casualty pile. It then overran and crashed into the next goblin pump wagon. Meanwhile, in the melee, all these guys stabbed each other good and proper. Nice fair fight between horrid little things which were very glad are exterminating each other. And over here, the Rules Pit Abomination just ate rank after rank after rank of Savage Orcs. And Emilio's done this to me before, and now I'm enjoying watching it happen to him. We'll check in at the end.
Have a closer look with the camera if it's got knuckle dusters, because I reckon after that fist fight, it's wearing knuckle dusters. It's an unfair fight. This is a dirty fight.
Well, you know, it's a dirty miniature that shouldn't exist, and a dirty set of rules which inspires the cynicism of wargamers. Oh, fuck me sideways. Well, it's the we're up to turn 3, the first half of turn 3 for the goblins. We'll check in somewhere in the middle of that or after it, and if there's still any minutes left on the table, we'll keep going. Alright, with the halfway point of turn 3, the goblins have had their go. Oh, well, the Rules Pit Abomination bumped off a bunch more guys, but somehow she managed to lose the fight. A couple of standards in there, and it didn't kill as many guys, and it's down to 1 wound. It's still there. It's still doing the nasty. Here, the goblins technically won that, actually by 2, but the Skaven passed their test. As we were reminded, the little bastards get a bonus for ranks. The last chariot got ground by the grinder. There's an awful lot of grinding going on here. It's like, no, I won't go there. And this thing just steamrolled another snotling pump wagon, as you'd expect. Now, the bolt throwers earlier on in the turn managed to get a crack at this cannon and took 3 wounds off of it. So that thing's hurting. And what else happened? There was a magic phase, but I don't think it achieved very much.
But you also mentioned the abomination's down to 1 wound.
Yes.
The cannon's down to 3 wounds.
3, yep.
This fella's down to 1 wound.
Yep.
So they're fragile.
At any point here, it could swing. We'll see whether it does.
How's your heart going, Mark?
Oh,
You got the adrenaline pumping?
Okay, so
This is a game turning point right here.
So what's happened is the Doom Wheel crashed into the Orcs and Goblins, which you might notice aren't there anymore. And a goblin stabbed it in the eye and finished it off. Unfortunately, there was such a frenzy of fucking attacks coming from everything that it mangled the Gobbos. They fled. They rolled 2d6 thinking they'd get away, and then these guys rolled 2d6, so they're technically over here somewhere, and just took out all of those Gobbos, including the Gobbo Shaman. Then what happened is, okay, the Hell Pit Abomination is gone and killed the last couple of Savage Orcs in that unit, but then it's died. It's lost its final wound. Let's see what happens. Too many rules to die. Emilio's just run away from the table. I'm not going to film that.
D6 wounds.
Oh my fucking god.
Can't do it.
6
back.
wounds.
He's back.
He's back.
Yeah, but where is he back?
No, full health though.
At full
He's
health.
come back full
Come
health.
back,
Yeah.
full health.
All right, I'm going to congratulate you for the win.
My Lord Almighty.
It's a win. You did it.
Validating my utter hatred for that piece of shit. Hell Pit fucking rules Pit Abomination. Oh my god.
So not only has it come back, but it's come back full strength. You can't win now.
And at which point it will Thunderstomp and presumably annoy those guys a little bit. Well, what
What a
can I
game.
say? What a game of
What a
sixes
game.
that was.
Devastating Skaven when they roll well.
That, well, alright, gentlemen, what have we learned?
Skaven are awesome when they don't blow themselves up.
Orcs and Gobs didn't fail any of their animosity tests, which was amazing
That's interesting.
for this game. I think I had the right army. I just think the way I deployed it, he did a front line straight forward, I did a front line straight forward. That's my weakness. I should have actually bunched up to either his left or right flank and concentrated the attacks there and let him take 2 turns to catch me. I just went front on fight, a bit like a Tyson fight, heavyweight versus heavyweight. And it was great to see. Lots of casualties. We knew there were going to be lots of casualties. Mark rolled exceptionally well with his dice most of the time. I rolled well and then rolled really poor. So magic, I got my foot, the big foot of, was it?
Foot of Gork.
Foot of Gork.
First turn,
First
the Foot of
turn,
Gork was hilarious.
and I was thinking Magic was going to win this game for me, but it didn't. The bell. Tell us, Mark, about the bell.
Oh my god, that bell.
So obviously, there's only one choice when it comes to ringing the bell, and that's ringing it every turn with full 3 dice. I think I rolled a 14, which is everything within 12 gets +1 attack, all Skaven, and destroys any buildings on a 4+. Then I rolled a 13.
Now, I'm going to just point out, there used to be 5 buildings. There's now 1. I downloaded the PDF, and I printed them all off onto 200 GSM paper, and I built the entire Warhammer townscape. And the Skaven have not only defeated Emilio's Orcs and Goblins, they've defeated my village.
So it was 2 14s and a 13, and a 13 was D4 hits on everything nearby, strength 4 hits, and the Bell's unit all got to attack any model they were in base contact with because they were so friendly.
Yeah, that's a hard thing.
It's still a massive unit, so it would have been really, really hard to stop. I still had the goblin.
They did really well.
Bolt throwers did really, really well. In fact, they nearly took out a cannon all on their own.
Good point.
And that's
They
still
whacked a
alive
bunch of
too.
wounds on
Yeah,
that thing.
and they're still far enough away from things that they could get at least 1 or 2 more shots in. But Yeah, they definitely worth their value. I think the goblin chariots did really, really well. They could have actually taken
Yeah, that was just unlucky.
you're just unlucky with the rolling. So, look, definitely, I think Chris was right. I could have won the left flank, and you definitely were winning your left flank. But if I'd actually then won the left flank, I think it could have been an interesting, result at the end.
You know what? If that thing had the courtesy to die and stay dead, that cannon would be in jeopardy. Bolt throwers would have a go at that thing, and it'd take a long time to get to them. It would have been a much closer outcome, and as it is, those rats are way out of position. Yeah, they're not going to achieve much.
There was one other thing I forgot, and that was Lucky Shrunken Head. I took a lot of casualties, and that could have given me a 5+ on every casualty that I'd taken, and I probably took all up over 20 casualties. So odds are I could have got at least 6, 7.
Also, in the next turn, then you would have had more attacks than maybe.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered because it came back with full
That could have changed.
It's ridiculous.
So
It's
it's good to know your army list, but it's also good to know what things can do for each of the characters and so on.
Well, that's true. Knowing your list is a hell of a thing, and it also helps if you roll a fuck ton of Yahtzee all through the game.
That's my tactic, is just to roll 6s.
Well, last game, all of your 6s were basically on the
The miscast.
on the miscast and blowing up your army, and this time it was everything else.
Well, this is going to be a good one to watch. So certainly look at the movie, the video, and like it. And the other thing to keep in mind, this is just the beginning of our campaign. So 1,300 points. We probably will build up to 1,600 points, and we might even invite other people along to wargame with us.
All right, sounds like a plan. But for now, it's a score night. I got no fucking idea what time it is, so it's time to call it a night.